Hello, Marjorie. I have known you for, is it 14 years now? I
Yes,
would not,
wow.
yeah, I know. It's not like we're friends, but we exist in the same industry, and I've always really respected your work. And you're launching a new firm. I'm really excited for it. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. So, as you know, I've been working exclusively in the employment discrimination space for about 15 years now, practicing 20, but 15 years exclusively in this space. And I've always been under somebody else's banner, Phillips and Associates, Wigdor, and et cetera. And those firms are great. Those firms are fine. And I believe that there was space for a new kid in town, so to speak, that could take a little bit of the high end, high level of representation that was given under Wigdor, but make it accessible to everybody, not just celebrities, the way that Phillips and Associates has. And I think that I have a unique voice because having been in this space and representing exclusively employees and also being a woman and a woman of color, I think that I bring an equitable advantage. So that's what Mesidor PLLC is. It is a firm where you can get top-notch legal representation regarding all of your employment discrimination, sexual abuse, and sexual harassment needs, without having needing, celebrity status in order to get that degree of representation.
I love that so much. I mean, first off, you're absolutely correct. It's so important to have options in this field that don't look like me. Because like how many people come in and sit down with me and like, this guy kind of looks like the problem. Um, which fair enough, right? I'm also really glad I kind of got out of New York. We went national before
Mm-hmm.
you launched your firm, frankly. That I feel a
Right.
little bit safer this way. Um, I mean, listen, Wigdor, such a pedigree, but you make a great point. It's for the wealthy, it's for the
Right.
famous, right? And
Right.
Phillips and Associates, I mean, you helped so many people there.
Right. So many cases, so many people, but having a high volume practice firm requires you to have a machine.
Yeah.
And that is not the way that I am comfortable litigating. Right. So I want to give very individualized attention. I want when people hire me that they get me, not my team,
Yeah.
but that they get me. And
Oh,
both of those
wow.
firms do great work. This is not me besmirching them in any way,
Of course.
but me just saying that this is the way that I want to practice. A lot of the people that I represent are people who are in various degrees of their career and they want to protect their options, and they really do need that very customize, bespoke approach, right, to their representation, not just, cookie cutter resolutions. Sometimes we are negotiating promotions, sometimes we're negotiating rehires, sometimes we're negotiating exit packages that have 3 or 4 phases so that the optics from the outside are can preserve our clients' choices. There are so many different scenarios as there are different professions and circumstances. Sometimes people have tuition reimbursement. Some people have signing bonuses that they're concerned about repaying.
Yeah.
Some people have equity options that are a few $1,000s, and some people have equity options that are a few million on companies that are about to go public, and you have to bring in a whole other layer. And always at the center of it is people being fundamentally the same. Everybody's worried about the same things. How am I going to pay rent, the mortgage? How am I going to support my lifestyle? How am I going to pay for my kids' college tuition? How am I going to feed myself? How am I going to protect everything that I've built in the part of for the part of, whether it's a few years just starting out and trying to make a name for yourself, whether you're at that critical point where you're just about to, skyrocket into the next thing, or
Yeah.
maybe you're in the sunset of your career and you say, listen, I thought I was going to retire here, and now I have 3 years left, and I have to find a new job somewhere else. Who's going to hire me at X, Y, and Z per year? These
Yeah.
are all common concerns. And it really goes to the heart and the foundation of, how people live, right? How they finance themselves.
Two questions.
Ask me.
Do you, because I didn't hear it in there, do you handle custom executive compensation negotiations?
I do handle custom executive compensation negotiations only as it relates to an exit package.
Oh,
Right. So if you are in a scenario where you are exiting one place and you're entering another place, and you want to make sure that you're not violating any sort of non-compete, non-solicitations here, and maybe it's muddied up with a possible retaliation claim, but you've being rehired here, and you want to make sure that the signing bonus doesn't cancel out anything, that Venn diagram between that space in which you exist, we handle. But if it's purely just an executive comp negotiation of without an exit, then no. There are others that we can recommend you to for that.
you just hate free money. No, I'm kidding. Second question. And this one, this is my, did I hear you correctly that when people come and hire you, the firm, they're specifically hiring you? You're gonna personally work the cases?
Yes, I have attorneys who work with me, who assist me in the cases, but you get me,
That's
for all
bonkers.
of, yeah,
That's an
for all
incredible
intents
value.
and purposes. Yes, indeed. And that's important to me because Mesidor is me. When you're doing it under your brand, you don't want somebody else um, doing that. I obviously welcome, and I have an incredible team who give incredible support, who gather information, who help me to do what I do so that I can do the parts that only I can do, right? And that's 20 years of building goodwill in the plaintiff's bar with opposing counsel, with neutrals, with judges who oftentimes are also a referral source, right? So you get all of that, and all of that matters. Who sits at the table matters, and I'm not just going to throw anybody at that table. Anyone who is going to be who is at that table sitting alongside of you is going to me plus, not me minus.
That's amazing. I could never do that. I don't have your trial acumen, frankly. Um, but also like I just don't think so. Obviously, when people hire our firm, they do get to talk to me, and I do quality control. But we're assigning a team of three, and it's not me because I'm not the best option. But I think
Right.
the value proposition, you are the best option, and that's
Right.
incredible. That's amazing.
I do think I am the best option for the cases that I get involved with. But I'm very particular about what I get involved with because I don't interject myself into people's lives when I don't think I can add value. There are good cases that I turn down or that I refer out to other attorneys and law firms because I do not think that I would be able to add value in a way that is meaningful. And I'm also very honest with clients when they've already negotiated a great deal for themselves. And sometimes that just goes with the goodwill that they themselves have built with their former employers. So I'm saying, like listen, this is a great deal. You've done a phenomenal job advocating for yourself. If you need somebody to dot the I's and cross the T's, we can help you do that just to kind of close in the loop. But substantively, this is good. And I'm very honest about that because people are trying to make the best decisions for their circumstances and their lives, right? So, yeah.
It's always a tough conversation. Hey, I don't think I'm the best option for you can go great. They can be like, thank you for the honesty, or they can also just be like, well, you're leaving me high and dry here. Why won't you help me? And it's like, well, hold on. That's not what I'm saying. Like, I'm just saying like, there's a better option than me. Um,
Right.
what states can people hire you in right now?
People can hire me in New York. They can
Okay.
hire me in Connecticut. They can hire
Amazing.
me in New Jersey, and they can hire me in DC.
Ooh,
I also have strong local council relationships in Florida and California and Texas.
amazing.
But those are more local council relationships that I would be doing it with another firm, whereas in-house I can do all the others that we talked about.
If you ever need it, we have good local council options in all 50 states.
Oh,
Um,
great.
yeah, it
We
got
should
weird.
definitely talk. I may need you for Massachusetts.
Oh, yeah, we actually have a couple of good options in Massachusetts.
Okay, great.
It's yeah, by all means. Um, I was gonna ask a question. Oh, DC, do you handle federal employees?
We do not generally handle federal employees. I know there are so few attorneys that
I know,
do.
I know.
Yes, but we do not handle federal employees. It's a
Got it.
very specific process. And listen, I always say, listen, you don't go to the best cardiac, the cardiologist for to deliver your baby. Could he deliver your baby? Probably, but but that's not really the best use of
Yeah,
his talents, right?
it's so hard so we do handle federal employees, but it's way too expensive because we have
Mm.
one team of people that are really good at it, and they're just
Mm-hmm.
constantly overwhelmed. And it's like the prices kept climbing just for federal employees, and it feels bad.
Right.
You quote somebody in a bad situation, and they're just like, How, that's a lot. How am I going to
Mm-hmm.
do that?" And you're like, "Yeah, so I think you should call other people." That's my point.
Right.
And their question is always, "But who?"
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who. I've been sending people to Jonathan Bell in Long Island. Uh,
Oh, okay.
he does it.
Jonathan is good.
He's good. Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, he's
Um,
very good.
I think it's him and his wife in a whole. I mean, they have a whole firm, but I think they're like a team these days.
Right.
Okay, so starting the firm,
Mm-hmm.
are you hiring? Like, did you have to go through that process at all, or did you already know who you were going to work with?
I had an idea of what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I have a plan in place.
Okay.
I'm doing very strategic and highly developed hires.
I love that.
Because not only do I want the kind of senior team that can give the level of representation that I want, but I also want to help the next generation of attorneys be trained, helped, and supported um, to do this work. So we are actually in the midst of creating a fellowship
Oh,
for a full-time employee, for any full-time employee of Mesidor PLLC that has a desire to go to law school and is going to law school, to actually help them pay their tuition. If in return they agree for every year that they receive the fellowship, that they will practice on the plaintiff side of the bar doing this work. It doesn't even have to be at our firm, but that if they agree that they're going to take that good training, right, of having worked with our firm and having us support you through law school, you're going to come back and pay it forward and represent plaintiff side employees doing employment discrimination work. So I have a very structured plan that has three different phases. I'm actually ending phase one and about to enter phase two. So the short answer to your question is yes, we are hiring. We are looking for people who are incredibly passionate about representing those who have been discriminated against and sexually harassed, and who really want to serve, because that's what we're doing. We're serving the
yes.
populace.
Yeah.
And yes, we are.
So one, that's incredible. But also, tell me you're killing it without telling me you're killing it. Congratulations. That's
Thank
amazing.
you.
That cannot be cheap. Um, okay. So that's super exciting. So we have a real issue. Um,
Right.
we've had a lot of attorneys who have protected classes, women, people of color, who will eventually go defense side for that,
Mm-hmm.
frankly, that 400, 500K a year.
Right.
And I don't fault them for that. That's guaranteed money, and I get why it's tempting. But like, we keep investing 3 and 4 years into people,
Yep.
and they're like, I am making good money here, but like, I might not next year because we have to win cases to make money here. And those people will give me the guaranteed money. Can you give me guaranteed money? I'm like, no, that's not what we do. You have to win. That's the whole point of what we do. You have to win. to make money.
Right.
And they're like, okay, but I'm going to go take this money then. I'm like, again? Uh, three in a row, three in a row.
Right.
And it's like killing me. And I respect it. Like, no shame. I'm not, no shade at any of them. They're all incredible attorneys. They deserve it. But God damn it. Like, how do you get
Right.
people to stay? I don't like, and the ones who stay, like, listen, not you, but like the rest of us were kind of off. Like, we have a mutual acquaintance, been in the industry as long as I have. I'm not saying he's off, but like all he wants to do is fight with people. All he
Right.
wants to do, that's not normal.
Right.
And so the people who stay, we're all a little different. And it's, I don't know how we get, how do we get more people to stay? Because there's not enough of us.
So I have a theory about this.
Okay. I'm
You
excited.
know, so I think that there are people who are plaintiff side and there are people who are defense side. There are plaintiffs attorneys who are very defense minded, and there are
Yes.
defense attorneys that
Yes.
are very plaintiffs minded. And I feel like it's kind of like how they sometimes say you're either a cat person, you're a dog person, right? I think that in many respects, it is like that. The individuals who jump ship for the money tend to be individuals who are already a little bit defense minded. They're not, what we would call maybe the true believers on the plaintiff side, right? And again, not faulting anyone for making any decision that's best for them, right?
Yeah,
Frankly, we need friends on both sides of the bar, right?
we do.
Because they're also going to be in the room when horrific things are happening in the employment place, and they're also going to say, we
Yeah.
need to resolve this. This needs to be fixed. This is not the norm, right?
Yes.
I often say my sole job, my purpose in life is to make my job obsolete. The more business I actually get, that means I'm clearly not doing something, right? So, and how do I do that? I do that because I'm educating the public, right? That's why I'm doing the social media thing, educating people. Self-congratulations is great. Yeah, so-and-so got this award, so-and-so they got that award, but nobody eats from that. Nobody's elevated by that. We elevate each other with information. The other way that I do it is holding them accountable, the bad employers over and over again consistently, and also individually in my clients' lives, leaving them better off than the way that I found them, right? Most of the time, their harm has already been done to my client. My job is to pivot that circumstance and put them in the best position possible so that the impact of that wrong that was done to them does not have rippling effects throughout their entire life, or to at least put them in as good a position as they were before so that they can pivot it into the next circumstance in an atmosphere that is free of discrimination, right? So all of that is to say the people who are doing the work, our colleagues, those are the ones that we have to take care of. We don't talk enough about secondary trauma, what it's like after we hear these horrific stories of sexual harassment, assault, discrimination, disability discrimination, and when you see people who look like people who you care about, right? And this is not an experience that is unique to just people of color. This is not an experience that is just unique to women. Just you're conscious as a human being that another human being went through this and the impact that that has on your day to day. So we have to take care of our colleagues because there are soldiers in the fight, right? There are lieutenants, and we need to make sure that we're taking care of them from a mental health perspective. And we don't talk about that enough. We need to make sure that we're taking care of them from a financial perspective so that we can keep them in this fight, right? One of the things that we do for our clients is we have an entire packet full of resources of things that give rental assistance, mortgage help, food assistance and all sorts of support, mental health assistance that we give to our clients, because we don't want them to take the low-hanging fruit of the first and second offer. Sometimes it is a 2 or 3 year process, and we know that. And we know that that light bill or that whatever circumstance is going to come knocking on your door every month. And since 70% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, it is not uncommon for even those who are making the $300,000 and the $400,000 a year to be only 1 or 2 months off from financial ruin. So stabilizing our clients in that way, stabilizing our colleagues in that way. And what does that mean? That means we got to share the wealth. That means we have to do this in such a way that everybody eats. So when a judge tells me that a contingency fee of 40% is too high, right? And I have to maintain the top talent, and I have to make sure that they're able to eat, and I have to, and cases are being dismissed at the rate of 60% in Southern District of New York, and my cases are being dismissed at 16%. You, exactly. Like this is where all of that plays, comes into play. We charge 40%, but we give a premium service from soup to nuts. And we're not one of these firms that only wants the pre-suit stuff and then we leave you. Every case that I'm signed up, I am willing to say the opening statement in front of a jury to defend my client's position, which is another reason why we are particular about the ones that we sign up for. Because signing them up and then dropping them when you don't get the pre-suit is also not a great feeling for the client either, and just further compounds the harm.
It's also bad for your brand. Those empty letters, defense
Yes.
counsel know. They learn. They
Right.
learn that you're not actually going to file. So then you stop getting the people who are just like, well, listen, how many zeros? Like, what's it going to
Right.
take for this not to be filed? Right? Like,
Right.
and it changes. Like, I've been at firms where they do the letter. I'm not going to
Right.
name the firm many, many years ago. And the first thing that I learned when I started my own firm is you can't do that. Because
Right. No,
people are like,
absolutely
"Oh,
not.
is this a real case or is this one of your bullshit?" Right? And it's just
Right.
like
Right.
you can't do that.